I don't think I'm ever ready. You get ready for these things?
No, I haven't been working all morning on the report for today's show. No, I
Not at
haven't.
all?
No
Oh my
working
God.
at all on
That
this
makes
one.
one of us.
That's right.
I use my senses, I just feel the market,
You
me and the
do.
water, me and the market are like water, I just kind of flow, right?
I don't have that ability.
I base my whole opinion just off of one sale, one particular set of circumstances and ignore the rest. That's the secret.
Is that the secret? You just
Yeah,
focus on one statistic and
I should
ignore
get
everything else?
I should get an Instagram account and just offer free advice for people, how to make millions, how to retire, how to retire
Using
early.
using the TK method.
Just follow my for 64.99 a month. I will give you the tips on Instagram for you to be able to make millions in real estate.
Millions is not so much these days. It's more, I think billions is more acceptable.
Billions. I was actually looking up how many billionaires there are in Canada because there was like something on social media that said Canada only had three. And I was like, what? But one, it's US dollars. So that's, that eliminates about 2/3 of our billionaires because the people who have a billion Canadian don't have a billion US, right? So there was quite a few that came off there. And then I looked at the list of billionaires and I just wanted to see if I knew any of them personally.
Like
Like, maybe
personally?
they're at my Christmas party or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And you didn't realize that they were billionaires?
No, none of them were on the list.
No. Have
No.
any of them done the survey regarding being homeless?
I did it for them and I assumed like I made an inference and none of the billionaires were okay with being homeless. So they're all looking for housing at
It
some
makes
point or another.
sense. It
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, makes sense.
Well, TK,
It's Saturday.
we have it is Saturday and we have a jam-packed show today. But
That
not
show.
only, yes, it's a very important stat show, but we also have a show tomorrow.
Oh,
And
oh my
it's going to be
gosh.
big because we somehow landed Mr. Beat.
We got Mr. Beat. Yep. He's
He
coming
will
on
be
tomorrow.
on the show tomorrow morning. So stay tuned. It's going to
Yep.
be a big one. We're
He's
going to
a
talk.
US YouTuber and he's got lots of knowledge
You
in
may
a
have
lot of
heard of
different
him.
areas.
Yeah, you
And
may have heard
we're
of
going to have
him.
a conversation tomorrow, one way or another. So
That's
tune
right.
in tomorrow, 4 o'clock,
4
Sunday,
o'clock.
Eastern
And
Standard
if you
Time.
haven't yet, and if you missed the last video, like we had a goal for 200 likes and we got nowhere near it. It's fairly pathetic.
Set the bar
But
high. Yeah.
a lot of people are watching the show.
And
TK,
not liking.
what is going on? So either
Yeah.
they're like pressing play and they're not listening to our desperate request for subs and likes and comments,
Yep.
or they're pressing play and mute simultaneously.
They just like to look at us. But they can also
Okay.
catch us on podcast apps like Spotify, Apple, and all those other ones. If there are other ones.
Where we have been voted the most entertaining real estate show on the planet, TK.
Yes.
There was a
Thank you.
vote.
And it was 100%. It was a completely unanimous vote too.
Unanimous vote.
That was
And
awesome. Yeah.
TK and I were not involved in this.
Yeah. I didn't vote. I
Anyways,
swear.
lot of people listening, a lot of people watching. Hit that like button, smash that like button now, and now we can get into the stats, TK.
Stats. So
I got
October.
a special. I got something special for you today. I went
Okay.
deep in the
Well,
weeds.
I'm not even going to pull up the stats because I already know that you've got it well laid out.
It
So
is
October
beautiful.
2021.
It is so beautiful.
This is what it's all about. We're looking at, the fall market here. We obviously came out of, wow, look at this. We came out of an amazing start. September was an amazing start. It just like fuel to jet right after Labor Day weekend and things were booming. And that carried right through October. It really, I would say maybe there was signs of it slowing down near the end of October, but definitely the numbers don't show that, right? So it's more anecdotal than anything in my
It's good to see
sphere.
them slowing at the end of a 4-week period.
Yeah.
in the
But
numbers, right? That are not
wow.
broken down by day or week. But look at this.
Wow.
The only sustainable way to address housing affordability in the GTA is to deal with the persistent mismatch between demand and supply. Demand isn't going away. And that's why all three levels of government need to focus on supply.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know if you've been following my Twitter account, but I've been all over the city lately for these stupid policies that they've been implementing that will just like make supply take longer to get on the market and cost the end user more. But anyways, that we can talk about tomorrow. Boom.
Let's see what happened. So,
Let's
I mean,
see what happened.
so we're going to do sales first. Is that okay?
You go for it, baby.
All right. So we look at the sales numbers, right? So the total sales. So this is the second highest October on record, right? To have 9,700 total sales is pretty impressive when you look at, what a normal month would be. Like there are spring markets where they didn't even hit 9,000 sales in a month. So for that to be happening in October, when really the fall market is the second best market, spring market's first, fall market's, second best. But for those numbers to be hitting is a pretty impressive 2 years in a row. I mean, last year at 10,000 and this year just shy, right? So even though that percentage change, I wouldn't be too upset about that year over year. It's pretty much flat from September, which is a good sign. So things aren't changing too much in one way or the other. But really, October 2020 was because of all that pent up demand. We were missing a lot of sales from the months of March, April, and May because people were locked inside. And to see a small percentage downwards is not something that's too alarming. One thing that I wanted to look at was the percentage of condos increases 28.9%. So see how much more condos transacted. So it was actually the condo market that propelled us to the number of sales that we had, because detached was down 18%, semis 17, townhouses 11. So the freehold market really, really, really was a major change compared to 2020. So there was way less freeholds. Why? There's no freaking inventory. There's nothing for people to buy. They want to buy. They got the money. They got the pre-approval. They got no house to buy.
And look in the 416, it's crazy. Condo apartments are equal to the amount of everything else that was sold. Maybe more. More
Total
condos were
sales?
sold in 416, 1,913 condos versus a total of the detached semi and towns don't even amount to the amount of condos.
Okay, good observation, Darryl.
Thank you.
So exactly, right? So that's what it is. There was just a ton of condos that ended up getting sold in the month of October, which the tale of two markets, right? Condo markets, freehold markets. Those two guys never get along.
It's not even that. It's like you need to buy something. I can't stay with your parents for another day. I can't stay here anymore. Or we can't keep throwing this rent away if you're in that camp, right? Like people need to make a decision, and like there's nothing to buy. It's crazy.
So you got a huge shrinkage of the inventory, and you and I actually spoke about this at the very beginning of the last show. Okay, not to say I told you so, but look at the trajectory now that the condo market's on. What comes first before prices, Darryl? Sales.
What comes before prices?
Sales
well, they kind of come
leads
at the same time.
Well, it's true, but the pressure on prices won't come until the sales start to really ramp up. When all of a sudden the confidence comes back, the inventory now in the condo market has been significantly impacted. So now we've got a lesser inventory of condos available because of all these sales.
But
so now prices
sales
eventually will climb up.
But sales don't have to go up if the active listings are plummeting for the pricing to go up.
But it's always going to follow.
If they're happening simultaneously, it's like, look at this. It's Crazyville.
All right. Well, sales are booming. So good for the economy. I mean, we're doing, I think it's 10 or 15% of the GDP is involved in real estate. So as long as this sales trajectory continues to happen, the money is flowing, going from A to B, B to C.
Look at the month to month, which I find super important. And I don't know if you noticed, TK,
Yep.
I added some colored arrows.
Arrows.
Look at
What?
that. Now we
That's high
know.
tech.
This is getting crazy here. This
So
is
yeah, look,
serious.
slightly increased from October. Nothing really to brag about from September. Sorry, nothing really to brag about, but still significant increase. So that's
700 sales out of 9,000. That's it. That's 8%, 9%. That's a great
a good
increase.
number. It's a good
Month to
number.
month. That's in, if you annualize that, what is that? 8 billion percent. Did I do the math right?
So when you look at the trajectory of this market, okay, we were going down. So we got March 15,000, April 13,000, May basically 12, June basically 11, July 9, August 8, and now sales are going back up again. Number
And
of sales, number of
inventory is
transactions.
plummeting the whole
So
time.
we've
Down the
got we've
whole
got this
time.
little roller coaster of sales.
Oh, it's so beautiful, TK. It is
You like
so
it?
beautiful.
We
I
should have done
love
a
it.
graph
There's,
unless.
there's graphs all over the place
Whoa!
here.
Look at that graph. Oh, this is sales.
It's
Yeah, okay.
Yo, we
So
got sales,
the
we got
orange
new
roller coaster.
listings.
Go back to sales. We're talking sales.
Yeah, look at
Look at
this.
look at the orange roller coaster up and then down, 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 down. Oh, now we're going back up again. What's going to happen in November for the sales?
If I look at all of these charts, which I do, but when I look at all these charts, look at this one in particular. I don't know if my mouse comes through on the
I do. I
recording,
see
but
your
like
mouse. Yeah.
there is a definite pattern here. If we take the blue line out and ignore it completely, we are
Yeah.
getting like over
That
the
was
mountain,
2020. Yeah.
down, back up and
Big one. That's
down.
like Leviathan
Okay.
right there.
But even though, this is extreme, but like these follow a very similar pattern with,
Yep.
yearly increases for inflation. This is extreme to the opposite of this. This is like a balancing act, just bringing it back to over an average, probably right where it should have been. So what's
Yep.
going to happen with sales? It's going to have to follow the trajectory down, not because it wants to, because it has to, because if you walk in the
Lines.
store and there's nothing on the shelves, you can sit there with money in your hands all you want, but you're going to have to wait for them to fill up the shelves again. And
There are
guess what happens
lines
though? What
predicting the
happens?
future right now.
What happens when they're filling up the shelves? What happens to those price tags that are underneath the items? Do they stay the same, TK?
I'm lost in this analogy right now, but I'm going to say no.
You would be correct. And we will leave the analogy.
So November is going to have less sales according to the last 4 years of data.
Uh, It's definitely going to have less sales, but it's on an uptick, which it
But
should be.
let's
And it'll
figure out what
drop.
prices are going to do then. Let's go back.
Prices. Back to prices.
Go back to the first chart that you had there so we can see the Trebs chart, not the graphs. Hey, computer guy. Oh, hey. So this one.
This one.
Yeah. So average prices, right? Oh, average prices on
You're like on a delay.
$1,155,000. It's 200 grand more than it was a year ago.
Nuts.
Hey, 200
Nuts.
grand more to live in the city on average. The averages are not always meant to be looked at too carefully, but that is a staggering number. Right?
But again, it's following the same trend. You're like on a lag behind what I'm seeing. Do you have the average resale home
I
price?
got the average resale home price. Yeah.
Beautiful. So, I mean, again, it's following the same pattern from the 2 years previous. If you eliminate last year,
Yep.
last year wanted to do the same thing. It seems it just
But look at
couldn't.
2019 though. 2019 we had a little oomph at the end of the December there. But all the other years it's been
Boom.
So what's going to happen?
If we look
If
at
lines-
history, eventually, even if it goes down at the end of this year, it's going up over time.
But based on what we're looking at on these lines on this graph,
I
is
think it's
that
going to
the
come down
average
a
price of
little.
November and December will be equal to or less than the month of October.
Yeah, but you know what? It won't happen this time.
It's
This is
also
going
the
up.
type of properties that are transacting.
We're gonna see the oomph. We're gonna see the oomph at the
Less
end
of
of
the
the
high
year.
end stuff will be transacting. Go back to that first chart, please, if you can.
This one?
No, that one. Very beautiful. All right. So what's going on with these detached houses?
What is going on with the look at the price in the 416 for an average detached TK?
Yeah. 1,784,000. Not the highest we've seen to date. So again, just depending on luxury homes being sold, you know, that's not something that's it's a real big figure. But if you look at the percentage, 27.7%.
Detached
That's a lot. It's like 300
year
and
over
something thousand
year.
dollars. Your average detached house price went up.
Insanity.
Yeah. Condos.
Townhouses even more.
Yeah. Condos. So you've got, you know, a reasonable increase in condos. 703,000 average price for condos all throughout the GTA, which is up 13% year over year.
Still good. I mean,
So
it looks
the
like crap
largest
compared to the
increase.
rest.
Yeah, the largest increase in condos we've seen for a long time.
Beautiful. So everything's ripping and roaring. What does that mean, TK? What does that mean? While inventory is going down. Look, it's going
Or
to
zeros.
plummet. It's going to plummet. New listings
Yeah.
is going to plummet.
So where are we now? 2021 on the orange. We've got definitely trajectory is going down. So my guess is less people over the next 2 months will be listing their homes for sale. What's going to happen, Darryl?
Even if the current trend continues and we have the same amount of people listing, or we have 25% more people listing, it's
Yeah.
still going to be like way down from the demand.
It's so funny. Actually, I wrote about it this week. People just are programmed. Everybody I'm meeting right now, you know, I'm meeting people every week and they're telling me, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to get my house ready for the spring. Oh, you know what? I'm going to get my house ready for the spring. Oh, I'm going to move next spring." And so they're kind of talking to me now to try to figure out what they have to do and all that kind of stuff. And really the question is like, what are you waiting for the spring for? Okay? I have the best example. 2016, December. Someone said to me they're going to wait till the spring because they want to open up their pool. Okay. January, market's hot. Great time to sell. February, market's hot. Great time to sell. March, market's hot. Great time to sell. I think that pricing in the neighborhood was like 9 to 950 of this type of home. And I said, this is amazing because you're retiring, you're moving out of the city. You've already bought that property. It's like a cottage property that they're moving to, like to retire to. I said, like, catch in on this market. It's not going to be here forever. And in May, they called me to say, it's the springtime now, 2017. My pool's open. The house looks great. I want to get it sold. Well, the market changed drastically. They ended up selling it for 750. 150 to $200,000 losses because they waited for the spring. What's in the spring, Darryl?
The best market ever.
Is it?
Apparently. No.
Is it?
Well, it's supposed to be.
Can you guarantee that?
It's supposed to be. If you
There's
look
been
over
many
time,
examples. Exactly. There's been many examples where it has been, but is that a guarantee? Like there's no guarantees in
nothing's a
life.
guarantee. You're looking at Mr. Not guaranteed over here.
Unguaranteed.
Like definitely there is no guarantee.
There's no
Proof right here.
guarantees. And yet people are still saying to me in this market with all the volatility, with all the risk, with all the things that are going on, I'm going to wait till the spring. Yeah. Why? I don't know. Something's going to be better in the spring.
Something will be better in the
The
spring.
grass will be greener.
What do they know?
They don't know anything. It's programming.
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 Well,
And
I mean,
buyers do the same thing.
you see it in the charts. Like there's definitely like waves and ebbs and flows that seem to be fairly regular, at least over a 3-4 year period that seem to be consistent. I mean, if
Yep.
you throw the pandemic into anything, I imagine inconsistencies appear across the board. We've seen that all over the place. But here,
Yeah.
brief pause. It's like everything in Toronto. You get a brief pause and then kazoom. It's
Yep.
like I've watched them try and hold this market back forever. And from time to time, they make they put it on pause a little bit. Something
Mhm.
puts it on pause a little bit, and then it just keeps going.
The
I
BC
don't know.
government is talking about a cooling off period in the resale market.
Yes. Do you want to talk about that right now?
Sure.
Ooh. I tweeted about this today too. This is the dumbest shit I have ever heard in my life. Okay, here, ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, TK, you're telling me I got 10 days to change my mind, right?
Yeah, no problem, Daryl.
So, I can this is what I think we're going to do. We're going to go out and we're going to put offers on everything. And we're
Yep.
going to fucking outbid everybody on everything by
I accept.
stupid amounts. Let's go do it. We'll
Talk
back
to me
out
in
of
10 days. Let me know if you're still interested. While
we'll,
I can't make any financial decisions or plans with my life until you actually give me the final okay that you're going to buy my house. 9 days later, Daryl, you mean you're backing out of the deal? You're not interested anymore?
No, I bought 7 other houses.
Okay, I'm going to go sell it to Jim. He's going to let me know in 10 days if he wants to buy it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then
Hey,
next thing
Jim.
you know, yeah, but you're not you don't what's wrong with my house? And then everybody else starts going, "Hey, what the hell is wrong with that house? It's taking forever to sell."
Yeah. Nothing's wrong. Just Daryl bought 7 other houses. He can only buy one at a time, you know?
It's well within the rules.
Yeah.
And what
And
what is
Jim just
this?
got excited because his wife told him he wanted to be in that neighbor. They wanted to be in that neighborhood. And, but it turns out they want to be south of the other street than north. So
So what does it
they,
do to pricing though? Because here, let's think this through. Pricing, okay? So I'm outbidding everybody like a crazy person, and so is everybody else. So you'd
yeah.
think the prices go up, but nobody's closing on anything.
Well, now think about it
Now
this
all
way.
of a sudden, like the momentum of the market changes completely because you can't make a deal for like 20 days at least.
What if the other side, the sellers got a cooling off period?
That would
Now,
hold on, but
now
you're making shit up right now.
I'm just saying, if that
But that's
if
not in the
that becomes part of the
conversation.
contract law where they say, look, buyers and sellers, everybody just cool down 5 days. The sellers could try to get more money, right? The sellers could try to get more money. What if
No.
you have a conditional? Hey, Daryl, what if you had a condition on financing and home inspection and one with no conditions but a cooling down period? It
Ooh.
doesn't matter anymore.
What if
Yeah.
the seller and their agent like actually put together a package of all the stuff that you need to make the decision before they list, and then they have an online auction that everybody can see who's involved, what they're doing, or who's not involved, but what they're doing, and everybody has the same information to make the same decision on.
You have to buy it with crypto.
Absolutely have to buy
I
it with
want I
crypto.
want
It's
an
going to be an
instant transaction
NFT.
at the time in the metaverse.
It will be an NFT, and you'll go like
Yeah.
this. Bing. I want that. Bing, and then boom, you bought it.
And Mark Zuckerberg will get a piece of the action.
Zuckerberg.
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 I'm laughing too much. So,
This is
Daryl, this
great.
has been a great stat show.
You missed my whole bonus surprise, for Christ's sakes, with all your jabbering today.
And now it's time for the bonus.
And now it is time for the bonus. Look at you. Well done, TK. How do we make this bigger again? Present, TK. I present to you some bonus material.
Ooh, the quarterly reports.
We got some Greater Toronto new condo sales quarterly report. Look at this. 7,773 new condo units were purchased in the GTA in the 3-month period, up 22% from last year.
Q3. Okay.
So if we're
that's a big
looking
number.
just at Q3 data
Shoot.
here, and we
Oh.
say, hey, tell
Best
me,
Q3 ever.
TK, where was the pandemic on this chart? Could you figure that out?
Well, I mean, last year, but really that's Q3. So
No.
we were out of the pandemic.
But you can't figure it out. Look at this trajectory.
Yeah.
Even with the slowdown that we saw in the numbers, zing, it
Yep.
made up for it. Average price per square foot for new condos still on the market, up 10% to $5,231. TK, if you told me this 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1231
Yeah.
average price, that is insane.
It's insane.
Insane. And boom, rental report. Look at this.
Now, Daryl, can I just break down something? And if you can tell me if I'm wrong or not here. Okay.
Are you still on the last page?
Yeah. So if a developer bought a property and they paid like $200 a billable and they
Mhm.
paid $500 per square foot to build it. Okay. So they're in 700. They've got 50% of their costs built into the $1,400 per square foot pricing. How much of the rest of that is profit percentage wise?
Well, what's your $500 made up
Just
of?
I'm just making up numbers here.
Oh, you're making up numbers. So,
Yeah.
I mean, listen, with any development site, there's the land cost, there's the soft cost, so carrying development charges, consulting fees, interest, all that kind of stuff. And then there's the
Mm-hmm.
hard construction costs,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's profit. And
Yeah.
generally, that profit is split like who knows how many ways, right?
But I'm thinking that it's got to be at least 25%.
I believe guys are looking somewhere in the 17 to 20 something percent to like get the things financed and make them look good.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like per year over God knows how many years. I don't know. You know what? Everybody's looking for something different.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it depends. So, I mean, okay, so imagine you paid $200 a foot downtown Toronto 4 years ago,
Yeah.
right? Versus somebody that paid $200 a foot in Etobicoke last year,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that spread is going to be so much different. And then, so imagine like what hard costs do. I don't know what the developer actually ends up making because it's probably so different on each deal. So imagine, uh, you know, you end up getting like way more GFA than you planned for some weird reason. Like all of a sudden the LRT got announced and you changed your plans. Or let's say like recently the market just went crazy and all of a sudden the end price took off. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine, you know, some people through this made more profit on their deals than expected and some made less, depending on where they were in which part of each cycle. It's like how much does a house cost? It's like a very
Okay,
hard.
I get that. But what I'm trying to say, and I'm not trying to paint the picture here,
No, I
developers are
don't know. Put
making
like
money on every
15 to
deal.
25%.
There's a lot of developers who it's not going to be a profitable site, and that's why these projects end up not going through. I get that. Not every site is just magically profitable. But, based on what I'm seeing here is these guys bought those properties who are selling today several years ago,
Yeah,
right? Like there's
100%.
quite a lot of meat on the bones for the projects that have sold over the last 12 months.
The amount that the land went up was probably more than eaten up by the increase in costs over the last few years because the costs went bananas. At least the
Mm-hmm.
last couple of years, land stayed fairly stable. I mean, upward trajectory, but not crazy like the cost increase. Like, but again, I don't know. Again, a project might make 5% at the end of the day, but it might be
So
over a
you feel
million
that these
square
these sale
feet.
prices are not going into the developer's pocket. They're just covering the hard cost on construction increases. Majority of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
listen, I guarantee you a developer, if he sees an opportunity to squeeze more out of the end price, he's going to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I guarantee you, like the performa from the day that he bought the land to the day that he's counting his money has gone through like 8,000 different versions and gone up and down and saw like, huge increases and huge crashes. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like this living and breathing thing. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God. Like,
Yeah.
imagine what people's are starting to do when they're analyzing deals now with what's going on overseas in China. Like,
Mhm.
How do you gauge if that's going to have an effect here? And then what do you do? How do you move forward? If you think there's going to be an effect, like there's so
Yeah.
many friggin' factors involved.
Let's
We're not going to get to the
let's wrap up
rental.
the stat show. It's a halfway show. It's a halfway show. Okay.
Halfway. We
So
are
we're already there.
halfway there. Yeah,
Is
we're
there another
past the
is there another
halfway.
slide?
Yeah, but we'll get to it next time. This was
Okay.
jam packed, and
It was
I don't know.
jam-packed.
We got the rental report, but it doesn't matter. Rents.
Rents are going up.
It's like everything. More
Yep.
people are renting.
Rents are going up.
Less stuff for rent.
Cost me more to buy that unit. I'm gonna have to charge more in order to pay the bills.
You will be
I love it.
more upside down in a new condo unless you pay all cash.
Yeah. You're just becoming more of a socialist. You're
Well,
helping people find housing. You're contributing to the housing crisis by buying a negative cash flow condo. Pat yourself on the back.
yes, for being extremely dumb. But it's a strategy that has worked for
It's
many
working.
people.
People make a lot of money renting out condos and all that kind of stuff. I'm not knocking it,
TK,
Definitely makes sense for certain people.
this was not the most organized stat show of all time, but it was jam packed,
I
full.
think it was the best one.
It may have been the best one.
Yeah. I'll
I
see you
think
tomorrow.
that will be the thumbnail. The best stat show of all time, TK. Well done, sir. You were part of history today.